Okay. Welcome all audiences to Monk Chat Facebook Live. It's online on the Facebook monkchatmcu.Chiang Mai. So this program is a Dhamma discussion and also the program that we will bring the Dhamma talk in the Buddhist and the question to discuss and explain to all of you to understand together. And I don't come alone today. Okay, I always come with the other monks to come and discuss the topic. So let me officially welcome my Dhamma friends first. Okay. Hello, namaskar, all the Pantes and Venerables. Good evening to all of you. Okay. I welcome Bhikkhu Parapanyo once again after he have been joining us for a while, and for 2 times later he have been busy, so that's why he cannot participate. And I have invited another monks who always be with me, Pra Sombun, and our new members today, okay, who are going to join our Dhamma discussion. Okay, let me welcome you to Pante Panya. So I will let him introduce himself to that you get to know him, his background, and he is an American monk. He's living in Chiang San, right? So let's come to know who is he. Okay. Hello, Pante Panya.
Sadhu, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Well, I am, my name is Bante Panya. I'm from America. I've been a monk for 3 years. I ordained as a monk in Cambodia, and I moved to Thailand to further my practice and understanding in Buddhist studies, in meditation, vipassana, and to practice here in Chiang Rai. And at the moment, I am living in the forest in a forest monastery in Chiang San. It's pretty nice here.
Okay, thank you. Can you speak Thai or Lao? They have been in Thailand for 3 years.
I speak a little Thai, but not enough to hold a strong conversation. I can understand more than I can speak.
Yes. Can you greet our audience in Thai or Lao or some Isan dialect?
Namaskar, sabadi bo.
Okay, very nice. Thank you for yes. One thing that okay, one thing that I really love to hear from Pante Panya, he is happy monk. Okay, he is a happy monk. He is always speak with smiling and makes people happy. So that's his personality. So today I hope you will enjoy his talk. So feel free. Okay, feel free to listen, and also all venerables, we are going slowly. We're going to go slowly. We don't go too fast. Okay. Hello to my friend. Okay, so everyone can see the comments. They come to make a greeting to our Monk Chat Facebook Live right now. Okay. All right. Thank you, Panya once again. Okay, now we come to the topic today that we're going to um, talked about. Okay. Okay. So our topics today that I have already posted before 2 or 3 hours ago, and is also appear in the intro of this Facebook Live. This question was asked, okay, by one viewers from last 2 days, okay. And then I told them that okay, we will make this special Facebook Live for this topic because it's big concept, and it's very important concept in Buddhism. It's called the three characteristics of existence. Okay, so the three characteristics of existence is the fundamental teaching, or is a concept that Buddha he explained and tried to teach the followers to have this higher wisdom to know the truth, to be aware of all the conditions are undergo changing. We cannot attach to any condition that's arise. It will change. It is the anicca. In English, is called impermanence. Dukkha is can translate suffering or subject to change. This is a state of a condition that cannot keep in the same condition. And the last one is anatta, non-self. It's under our control. It's not belong to us, not belong to anybody. So the problem is, many people when they're studying Buddhism or who are started to learn about Buddhism, when they have learned about this concept, okay, it's also very good and talking in the ultimate truth. But some of them get confusing that in the real world, many people attach, okay, we have relationship, or we use things in life, we have to take granted as that's belong to us. And how can they apply, okay, this concept, and what is the benefit that when we know and understanding about this concept, and how it's helping and make us have a good life or peaceful life. So I have invited my monks friends. Okay, there are two American monks today. So if anyone would like to ask them specifically question, especially about their ordination or interested about their life, you also can ask them. Okay, mention to our topic. I will put this question on the floor to my guest speaker to share, okay, their idea and knowledge, okay, about this. Okay, please, Venerable Varapanyo, what is the benefit of understanding these three characteristics of existence? Why we have to know and understand about this concept? How it improve our life in daily? Thank you. Hello. Sorry, Varapanyo, can you hear me? Okay, let me.
Okay,
Okay,
I
my
think now you
question.
can hear me. I was
Yes.
muted before, but I can hear you
Okay.
the entire time.
Yes.
Uh,
So, what's your idea about that?
so my idea about that, there
Mm,
are many benefits from understanding reality and having a more
yes.
direct experience of our lives and our mind. So the three marks of existence are um, not so much conceptual ideas. They are more like something that you experience directly when you start to practice meditation, when you start to look at reality and look at the mind directly. So it can be impermanence or non-self or suffering. These are parts of reality, parts of our lives. So I'm not sure exactly what the question is.
Okay, my question is, um, as a lay people who live in the the secular world, they focusing on worldly happiness. To understand this higher teaching or the concept of the reality, um, how this benefit to their secular life, which is surrounded by the problems and social trend changing in their life. Yeah, that it is many people facing this problem, and uh, how can they get benefit from this uh, concept?
I think there are 10,000 ways to get benefits from these concepts. Um, for impermanence, experience that the sufferings we have, the fears that we have are impermanent, that they're not going to be there permanently. For non-self, we can experience that we are all not stuck in a particular psychological self. The mind and who we are and how we experience ourselves is always changing. And for suffering, it's very helpful to experience reality directly and see that there is suffering, there is discomfort, there is difficulty. Um, these are very major concepts in Buddhism. So, in and of themselves, as concepts, they aren't necessarily beneficial. They aren't necessarily helpful. Actually, you have to train your mind, you have to practice, and then you experience these things for themselves. Maybe they have many practical applications. The experience of the experience of impermanence, the experience of suffering, but in a conceptual way, they don't necessarily have benefit. So these are things that you have to experience for yourself to really get benefit from them. And from the experience of that, you can use them to understand things in a new way, to understand your mind in a new way, to be more compassionate. But just the general concepts of no self or non-self, it can be anything for anyone. It's only the experience of it that really has a benefit and can change our mind and can change our lives. But it's quite an open-ended question.
Okay, thank you very much. Bhikkhu Varapanyo. Okay, that's also very clear. And let me go to Prat Sambun, who have an experience doing monk chat for a while. Have you ever were asked by this question, and how do you explain to them and guide them how to apply the three characteristics of existence, anicca, dukkha, anatta, to themselves and society? Okay. Yes.
I think that this topic is when we talk about Buddhism, I think this is something very unique teaching when we talk about the remark of this existence. So the remark of existence actually is a characteristic of the reality. When you take a look closer to reality, especially your own minds and this body and things around you and everything, they are all under these three characteristics. So I'm not sure I understand the question correctly, actually, but what can this teaching or the realization of these three remarks can really help us to have a better life or to have a happier life? And actually understanding these three characteristics, whether impermanent or suffering or no self, and actually it's if we really experience through our practicing, especially like Pico or Apanyo explained through your practice, first you will see when you realize these three characteristics again and again, the first thing that you uh, uh, will arrive in your mind is the wisdom, understanding that things subject to change, and it's there's plenty of unsatisfactoriness that is not go along with our desire, and what we attach on anything, basically our own, maybe our own body, our own feeling, our own memory, our own thinking. This kind of strong attachment will gradually reducing. Yeah. So if we consider that naturally this thing really identify who we really are, or this kind of feeling, this body, this emotion can really stay uh, stay with us forever or not. Yeah. If we come to consider carefully, and actually this kind of thing always changing. Yeah, and it's not under our control. Yeah. So the more we use we or our own ego trying to control, not what by wanting, not to changing, that we create our own suffering. So that's why realizing the three characteristics of the universe, or impermanent, suffering, and no self, is that, of course, it helps us to gradually put down all the attachment, or simply help us to easily let go or whatever maybe happen in our life, whether happiness or unhappiness that's arising. So I think arising this allows us to be able to let go and or can be permanently free from suffering, because attachment or cleaving and clinging is the cause of the suffering. So if we realizing this means it helps us to push down all the clinging that causes suffering. So the result of realizing this is to be able to free from suffering.
Okay, thank you very much. The main, mainly I can summarize that two main points. First is going to benefit for ourselves to let go, okay, or to clean our mind, to make it um, um, light, feel easy to detach from the problem. And the second point is to let us easier to take an action something when we realize about this reality, about the everything going to change. So um, we won't be heedless fool. We won't be heedless fool. We will right away take an action. We um, will more active when we realize about this the reality. Uh, Another question: many people misunderstand about the suffering in the three characteristics, tukang here, and in the Four Noble Truths. It is same or slightly different? Venerable Varapanyo, can you explain this? The tukka in Four Noble Truths and the tukka in the three characteristics of existence, how is it different?
I'd like to hear Frason Bon on this.
Okay, President Boone.
On you mean suffering or dukkha?
Yes,
With dukkha?
yes, yeah, because both Dhamma uh, consists of these two dukkha. Uh, in the Four Noble Truth, Tukkang, uh, ni, Samudaya, Nirodha, and Magga. In the three characteristics of existence, Anicca, Tukkang, Anatta. So there are two dukkha. It is different or same?
I'm not sure that they really different from each one, and actually, but in the Four Noble Truth, what it's explained in the first Noble Truth, it's a dukkha or suffering, which mean which aim directly concerned with life, with the people life. Actually, what is explained on the Four Noble Truth. So dukkha here actually is mean and can be translated in many different words in English. So some people translate the word dukkha as a suffering. Some people translate the word dukkha as a unsatisfactoriness. Some explain dukkha in in difficulty, uh, discomfort. Uh, so, but whatever it is, and actually, in this, in the Four Noble Truth, it's concerned with, it's talk about the people life, how life is suffering, and people understand that the suffering that exists in life, and they aim to be like a pain in life. Yeah, like mainly in people life or human or beings life, mainly there are two kind of suffering: mental suffering and physical suffering. So for the physical suffering, of course, we illness, sickness, or age, and death. This kind of thing considered as a physical suffering that with our directly with our body and our well-being. And another kind of suffering is mental suffering, concerned with the mind, yeah, like sadness, the worries, anxiety, or which is concerned the mental sickness, you know. So this kind of thing, mainly there are three, like when we have like three three things or three cause of the mental sickness is that the anger, greed, and delusion, which is the cause of let's cause the mental sickness. And this is what is mentioned in the suffering or dukkha in the Four Noble Truth. But I'm not sure in the three mark of the existence what dukkha really mean. So from my understanding, I think dukkha is much broader than what is explained only the suffering of life. But I think it's concerned with the first one is impermanence. So things are changing, So because it's not something that's stable, it's not like stable. So it have the conflict in itself. So I think the suffering that is mentioned in the three mark of existence mention about the conflict in itself, that it's changing. It cannot like stay long lasting. So that's why it's caused that's kind of changing cause we call the dukkha to happen, because it's not stable, it's unstable.
Okay, so the dukkha in the Four Noble Truth talk about the characteristic, right? Or focusing on the problem, the feeling, pain. But dukkha in the three characteristic mentioned to the common characteristic of all condition that
yes, it's including living things or things.
Form. The forms will always change, so that's why it's cause suffering. Is it what you mean?
Yes, like a stone also had the suffering in itself, or dukkha in itself, because it's changed. It changed because it's under the characteristic of the like impermanence, and so in itself it's a conflict that is not like long lasting, changing in itself.
Okay, so one thing is, after we know and understand about this, is it help us easy to get recovery with some sadness or depression and also perspiration easier, because of we realize about that everything is under go of changing like this. But some people, they cannot accept that. For example, who really love about the beauty, luxury, it's difficult to let them please accept the truth. They don't accept that, they still want to keep beauty. And what about this thing when they agree about this concept? Because there are some people used to ask me in this way, hello Prabhupada, can you hear me? Okay. Prasambun, hello. Yes. So some people still go to makeup-ing and still attached to a lot of luxury. So why it seems that people go against to this way of the nature?
So in this point, it's not a bad thing that we attach on something, and actually that is a very natural way. But realizing this, and actually we don't, maybe I can use the word cling, when you're holding something tightly and you try to control that kind of thing to be permanently, and I think that is a kind of strong attachment. So in this way, but its contrast or the opposite side of the reality is that thing is changing. Thing is changing. So because we don't see those kind of thing is changing, that is, and actually when it arise, and we just want it to happen, but we don't see that this, and actually this kind of thing will one day will gone or maybe disappear from this moment or maybe next year. So in our mind, creating that this kind of thing will stay with us forever, you know. So without misunderstanding this kind of thing, uh, make us continuously shaking for something that will satisfy what we call it ego or our own desire. So that's why there are many struggling in life, you know. So struggling without it's like a circle. So struggling. So attaching on like our body, like why some people keep doing makeup. So and actually this is only about the the outside or the appearance, and it doesn't mean that we don't have to make ourselves to have a good looking, and actually that's for the social level. Actually we still have this kind of like to dress properly and to take care of our body. Still we need to eat to eat good food to maintain, to be healthy, but not but with the understanding that this, whether how much we put the effort or trying to preserve it, understanding that one day also is going to change. In the maybe we're getting old, and one day it will decline, and no longer that what we attach on. So that's why in this point, what make people don't really see this reality, I think they're still lacking of the practicing. So that's why the teaching, this kind of thing, we cannot rely only thinking or understanding the three characteristics by only thinking and understand, but we have to really experience, and still we can rely that the state of impermanence, and the state of dukkha, and the state of like non-self, or what it really is, you know. So that's why I think for those people still, maybe they heard several times and many times about the impermanent, suffering, and no self, but then actually that is only the that is hearing, just like information, but not very the experience that can lead them to realize truly directly to the state of that's kind of remarkable existence.
Changing a nice clothes, make upping my body, and so I can live my life just normal way that I live in everyday life, right? Unless I don't uh, be heedlessful to use those things, delude, you know, follow about those things. So I think about the final speech of the Buddha. He remind, like this is the question for all the disciples after he pass away. Okay, how they're going to live their life, and a very important word. It is the all condition is undergo changing. You should mindful, you know, don't be heedlessful. So this is very important word, I think, so we can live a normal life, You can have big house, big car, unless it's not make you feel suffer. And you always remind you by this final word of the Buddha that when you use things in life, all those tools or devices, that's only something support you or facilitate you to live a convenient life, to live a comfortable life. Cars can help you, allow you to go somewhere easily and faster. When something changed or has problem or crack or you losing it, you depart you from all those device or what is belong to you, and you have to remind you, okay, by this uh, final word of the Buddha, or um, impermanence, and everything, is under changing. Even our body, we cannot see that cell or our skin um, don't change, but it actually is subject to change. All right. So now let
I
I
can
come
say
to,
this.
yes, please.
Uh, with this question, it's just like if you go to seek the teachings of the Buddha.
Yes.
For many people, they go to a monk like they're going to a psychiatrist or going to a therapist. So why is a therapist effective? Why is a psychiatrist effective? Because they have learned the philosophies and how to apply them. But if you went to a
Mhm.
therapist, to a psychiatrist, you're not going to ask them questions about psychiatry or about psychology or the theories of giving therapy. No, they're going to work with you. They're going to use experience, the knowledge
Okay.
they have to help you. So the same is true with impermanence, selflessness, the different philosophies in Buddhism. These are something that from experience you can get the benefits to reduce suffering, to end suffering. But outside of that experience, they are just like a philosophy, just like to study. But when you have the experience of them, then you can use it. It can be a part of your wisdom. So in Buddhism, actually, theory and philosophy are not important. Actually, we have sila, samadhi, and panya. Panya, wisdom, is the highest level of Buddhist practice, and Buddhists say highest. Panya is not study or believing in something or having a philosophy. Panya has nothing to do with that. Panya is the expression of sila and samadhi, morality, skillfulness, and concentration and relaxation, tranquility. So really important to be aware of that. This is a engaged practice. This is a way of life, a lifestyle. It's not so much something to think about. Of course, you can study. It's very helpful to study, but you have to apply it. You have to start to do good deeds. You have to start to be skillful in your life, to let go of unhelpful and to do more helpful things. That's it. If you don't start to do that, then you cannot really call yourself a Buddhist just because you believe in Buddhist ideas, Buddhist philosophy. It's really something you have to engage with, something you have to work with. And so teachers or monks, whoever you come across, they're someone who can help you work with these ideas, these philosophies, to apply them, to engage with your own mind and your own life. But the Buddha was not really a philosopher. The Buddha was a meditator and someone the highest wisdom. And so they taught according to what people can understand. And that's the philosophy that we have from Buddhism. That the Buddha in certain situations taught so that people could understand. But the Buddha's wisdom, the Buddha's compassion, the Buddha's power and experience did not come from a philosophy. So we can never even get close to the Buddha's understanding through the intellect, through philosophy. And that's not to say that it's not wonderful or helpful or interesting to study Buddhist texts and to really develop a very powerful understanding of Buddhist philosophy. That can be really, really helpful to memorize certain things, and to have a really strong idea of the philosophy can be really helpful. But the only way to follow in the Buddha's footsteps and to really attain the wisdom of the Buddha, which we all can do, we all have the possibility to do that. It starts with morality, and then concentration, relaxation, this practice of meditation and tranquility. And then from that, the wisdom starts to express in our lives, and we can do this more and more morality, more and more doing good deeds, more and more practicing no attachment, and more wisdom, which is this natural expression of skillfulness from this place of tranquility, this ability and this capacity to interact in the world in a way that ends suffering and reduces suffering, not from an intellectual place, but from this place of cultivated skillfulness or morality.
Okay, that's very clear. That Piku Varapanyo mentioned about the three characteristics of existence is just an ideal or philosophy, part of a knowledge that we have to learn to know it, but to practice we have to apply. Especially mentioned to the Noble Eightfold Path that is concerned to the practical is the application for us to directly to practice to get the result. And he also have mentioned Buddha. He's not a philosopher that only use the rational thinking or critical thinking to explain how all the law, the universal law, is not only that, but leading to practice to get the right result, to focusing on the peaceful life and get the highest benefit, to slowly step up, lifting our mind close to the enlightenment. Okay, that's the point that we have all this philosophy in Buddhism. All right. I think that's very clear and very meaningful that we try to explain and share an idea concerned to this Dhamma. Now let me go to some comments so we can share some idea on that. And to all audiences who are following us right now, you can write some comments, question to our Dhamma discussion group right now. Okay, you can participate this one. Okay, we provide this monk chat live to integrate with you at home. Normally monk chat we run in the room. There are foreigners come to talk with us, but right now we have only shares, but we don't have foreigners come to chat with monks. We think about how to apply this new technologies, remote session, to get all the knowledgeable monks together and do live streaming, so you can watch at home and integrate with Buddhist monk. So very thanks to all the comments. Let me show you this comment. She mentioned about the talk of Ajahn Chah. Piku Varapanyo, do you know Ajahn Chah? He is the meditation master in Thailand. So Jessica Amorosa, Ajahn Chah talks about lifting the bowls. That's dukkha is like lifting a bowl and feeling it is heavy. Dhamma teaches us how to put the bowl down, how to step away from dukkha. Okay, so as we have known, maybe some foreigners or some Buddhists might not know who is Ajahn Chah. Ajahn Chah, he is the very famous meditation master. He has many students or lineage, who following his lineage or the practice of
Lineage.
Ajahn Chah, lineage. And most of his teaching, he used a metaphor like this, so it made his teaching very popular in Europe, and to many people who like follow him, easy to understand, because he used a metaphor in real life, in environment around the temple, to be media for convey and teach the Dhamma. Yes, thank you. Miss just Siga. Yes. Can we ask question from Johnny Win? Yes, please. You can ask question. Especially today, I feel very confident because I have my American monks friends who is here. He can help me all the question. Okay. One thing, okay. We have been doing this Facebook Live one week 3 times, and every time there are many different questions. So I feel that it's work, that we turn from offline to do an online. Many people also go an online right now. Sometimes we also worry that we spend around 1 hour and 30 minutes for live streaming. We also worry that this is too long for audience to following, and we think about edit or cut some main point, okay, of that question and pose it again. It will be benefit for those who have very short time and you want to listen and understand that question. Yeah. So we are working on it. So Miss, or I'm not sure Mr. or not, he asked that, how would you explain the difference between detached and not caring? Very good question. Okay, very good question. This is one of the top question that many people ask Buddhist monk in monk chat, because these two words, slightly very close, but there are some differentiation. So I would like to who gonna go first? Okay, Piku Varapanyo. Yes, please.
So if we don't care about something, then maybe we are going away, rejected. But detachment is not rejecting. Detachment is being aware of anything, everything, whatever is happening. Being aware, but not relying on whatever object that we become aware of to define our awareness. So in detachment, we're just being aware of what is happening, not grabbing onto it, not clinging to it. And not caring, I suppose, is a kind of rejection. We're pushing something away. We're saying we don't like something, or we don't care about it. We don't apply our awareness to it. But actually, we should apply our awareness to everything and anything that happens, that comes up in our minds and in our lives.
What about Prat Sumbun? What is the difference between detached and not caring?
So as Pico Wadapanyo already explain actually it's that way. It's really that way. And actually, so most of the time in our life, we always uh rejecting something and take something in it. You know, we like put something and we we pull something in our life. But detachment is not about that sense, you know. So the word not caring, uh, what people what Rabbanjo explain is sound like it's we reject, we dislike, you know. So like in our life, we always like react with things, you know. In two ways. We never only being the one who only observe, always puts away and and pulled into us. So that's why detachment here is not about to uh, refuse something or reject something or don't want something, you know, or but detachment here is rather be to really see, you know, only but not get involved whatever happening. But we do it as it's supposed to be. It's not about to like not to what it should be. We just doing following what is we should do, and what is we shouldn't do. Also, we don't really do or like do something that is not shouldn't do. So that's why it's not about to push away or maybe getting inside, but the word not caring is like put something away, which is not totally different from detachment, which is only remain only the observer or like uh, what happened you said is more like where without like getting involved whatever happening.
Okay.
Also, just to
Yes.
say, you want to make the people who ask questions, you want to make your questions as clear as possible, as specific as possible. There's many ways to understand not caring, detachment. Um, it's much better if for our questions we take something that's very important to us, something that's related to our direct experience, and we bring that experience, that life experience, to the monastic, to the teacher. We ask them about it, and ideas about detachment or not caring and how those are involved in that experience, then it's much easier to give a clear and a direct answer. So just keep that in mind when asking questions. Try to be as specific as possible so the answer can be directly related to your real sincere interest in that
Okay,
question.
that's very good. Okay, that's very good from both monks. Let me add, make this maybe can be benefit. Um, can you imagine when a football team when they defeat, so the whole team feel down, so if they um, don't take times to understand and try to accept the result and detach, they cannot keep doing next game. So in my point of view, detach is the mention to the mental quality that you have to take away from, from that sadness or the defeat, uh, and look forward. Not carrying is, I think, more like laziness, or um, don't base on the understanding or wisdom. Uh, Detach, we do our best already. We try our best to help someone to doing something. We do our best, but it's have some limit too. When we go to that point, I think that is can say like detach. But not caring, it will penetrate with feeling of fear, afraid, not looking good to doing that, and you have feeling you respond, you know, to that duties. Okay, so I think that is easy to understand. Or both monk also try to explain many ways. So um, I think it's enough for this question. We have another two big question. Okay, let me show everyone. Is having a relationship with someone a form of attachment? And what can you advise to those people who are madly in love? I have
So
to help from
I'll answer
Prabhupada
this one.
to explain. Yes, please.
Yeah. Uh, Having a relationship with someone is just a part of reality of life. We are interconnected with. Sometimes that interconnectedness takes on different forms. Sometimes it's a wife, sometimes it's a husband, sometimes it's a child. But we are totally interconnected and in interrelationship with everything, everyone, everything is totally interconnected. So we're in relation. That is interdependence, interconnectedness. So interconnectedness is not by itself a form of attachment for sure. But for advice to people who are madly in love, when we fall in love with other people, actually, we are falling in love with our idea of other people, the idea that we have in our minds. And this idea is actually related to our store consciousness, this aspect of our consciousness that stores all of our experiences up to this point. And so when we fall in love with someone, when we fall in love with the idea of someone, we're actually falling in love with a certain aspect of ourselves, with a certain aspect of our preferences and our own self identity. So, my advice for someone who is madly in love is to practice that love, that relation with mindfulness, with letting go, and putting aside those images and those ideas that you have about the other person and just seeing them as they are in this moment, almost imagining them to be a stranger. And this can be a really powerful practice so that when we do love someone, when we are in a relationship with someone, we can take the backward step and we can say that in some way, this person is a stranger. In some way, I am experiencing my impression, my own idea of them. And the real them is something that's constantly changing and something that I myself cannot experience. So taking that backward step and kind of floating this idea of this person as a stranger, letting go of our really attached, rigid ideas of who they are, and just allow them to be whoever they are without some kind of expectation of them or for them. Oftentimes, our love is based in expectation. I want this person to look a certain way. I want them to smell a certain way. I want them to do something for me in a certain way. And if our love is based in that, then love can very easily turn to no love or not caring, and it can even turn into hate. So it's better from a Buddhist perspective to cultivate this boundless love, this all-encompassing love of acceptance or metta, loving friendliness. So we have loving friendliness to all aspects of ourselves, to all aspects of the world, and also to the person who we are in a relationship with. So trying to keep all that in mind, relationships can be very tricky, but trying to stay grounded and stable and simple in those relationships. And good luck.
Okay, that's very good. What about the idea of Prasambun? What's your opinion concerned to a relationship? Is kind of attachment, but how can we understand about this?
I really like the explanation of Bhante Varapanyo actually. So especially madly in love. This is very new for me. This word, madly in love. I have seen so many people when they love so much on someone and their love turn into the hatred. So it is very true that the stronger uh, attachment and expectation on someone that we expect someone to have something or do something in a certain way is very our directly our own expectation and our self-identity that wants someone to be like what we want. So that's why I think this kind of what uh, Pico Varapanyo already explained. I think to is very good technique to see someone as a stranger, and we can let go of our that's kind of like self uh, identity. So I really like the words what it said by Ajahn Amaro. He said that if you love me, don't create me in your mind. So it is very, very, very good explanation. Yeah.
Okay, my fellow bhikkhus, bhantes, I have to go, but thank you for having me, and thank you everyone for watching and for all the questions. I have to go teach a class, but see you again next time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Piku
Okay.
Varapanyo, for your time. Yeah, please enjoy your teaching, and thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. A question from Julius Persico. I'm sorry, maybe I will pronounce incorrect. I hope that Prabhupada can explain this very well and support by the Prasambun. And we got many questions too. Okay, next question. It's concerned to ourself, individual, and society. In Buddhism, how we look at the society and oneself. Individual and society outside. Persambun.
Look at society makeup of many oneself.
Yes.
I think we oneself think it's a part of the society. So we in we ourselves as a oneself. Actually, we are a part of the society. So we are the interconnect. We are in the interconnection of all things. So this question, and actually we whatever. So that's why whatever we do or whatever we speak or even whatever we think, maybe in the thinking, maybe it's happened in oneself. But whenever we speak and we act in a certain way, this will affect the things around us, which is a bigger unit, like a family, our friends, and many other people in many different career, many age, and many different culture. So here, I'm not sure I understand the question correctly. In Buddhism, how do you differentiate?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So what I understand is about oneself, like your individual and society.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So here, that's why we are not separate from the society. So even we have oneself and society, you know. So we many oneself together and become society. So that's why whatever we do, whatever we act, it's a fact as a whole. Uh-huh. So it's a
Yes.
fact as the whole society. So maybe for the bigger the family, and then the society, and bigger unit. So that's why it's a fact as a whole, uh, and it's not a fact only ourselves. So that's why when we do a certain thing, we don't only uh, uh, make ourselves as the center of everything, at the center of everything. But naturally, our ego, mostly we tend to make ourselves to be the center of everything. You know? So that's kind of egoness cause many problems. So that's why here,
Yes.
uh, in Buddhism view that, and actually everyone are interconnected. So if someone, maybe there's someone a criminal, it's not only, some people may say, oh, that is not my business, and actually that's effect in maybe in indirect way, that maybe it can affect your life, or whatever you do, good or bad, it can affect to the others directly and indirectly. So this is how the Buddhism view that, and actually oneself, the individuality, and the society, all things are
Yes.
connected.
Yes. So Buddhism apply a holism. Everything um, interconnect. And one thing that show very clear that Buddha he very care about the uh, oneself or individual and have a good connection to make sure that we will have a good relationship to peoples around you. So he mentioned in the one Dhamma is called the sixth direction, Tit Hok, we call in Thai. So Buddha mentioned to mention duties of individuals to practice to learn when you have an interact and have a relationship with different people come from six direction. Okay, do your duties to your parents, okay, to your teachers, to your wife, to your friends, to your label, to holy man or the monks or ascetic. This is very clear that Buddha, um, all the practicing to train yourself, live in a community um, uh, peacefully. As a one also make a better society as well. All right. So I think uh, the question from Go in actually he is always keep following us from previous Facebook Live as well, and he is very interested to study about Buddhism, and he have some connection to Buddhist Institute as well. So I'm very thanks to his question. So he understands. So we're happy. And from Mr. Julius, he have mentioned to a quote from so Ajahn Sayasaro or who that you
Ajahn
mentioned.
Amaro, actually.
Ajahn
Amaro,
Amaro. Okay. If
the
you love
disciple of Ajahn Chah.
me in your mind, beautiful quote. He really like it. Okay, thank you. That's wonderful answer. But we got another question. I want to know more about non-self in Buddha's teaching. I still don't understand it and realize how is it. Thank you very much from Nang. I don't know how to pronounce it. One come right. I thought that she's Thai or yeah. Can you tell us who where are you from? Because your name very familiar to you. Are you Thai or Burma? She asked this question last week about the three characteristic of existence, and after we have explained, but not really clear about non-self. What is non-self in the Buddha's teaching? Okay, Person Boon.
Maybe she Chan, maybe.
Chan.
So I Chan Nang, because I know maybe Nang is the title of the name of the Chan people, especially for female actually. So here actually recently actually we have already explained about the non-self and suffering and the impermanence already. So as the Bhikkhu Vajrapanyo explained that, and actually if we just like take a look thinking, use only the critical thinking, rational thinking, rational thinking, and that kind of thing will never lead us to really understand what non-self really is. So you really need to put it into practice. So the way how to practice, how to realize, how to understand what self or non-self, or what the Buddha really mean about non-self, is we need to really put it into practice. So the way to practice, and actually the Buddha have already guided in the core teaching in Buddhism, is about to avoid bad, do good, and purify the mind. So this is the basic concept in the way how to practice, how to realize the thing that's called non-self. So in other words, in the practice, it's mentioned about the three way of training, how to realize, understand about the non-self. Is about the morality. That is the way that the Buddha guide to practice the morality of the sila, and the second is the samadhi, and the samadhi, or the peaceful mind, tense quality of the mind. And finally, we will realize by ourselves wisdom, which is about the three characteristic things is subject to change, and it's changing. So it's called the unstable conflict. But it's conflict, and finally, all thing is the condition. It's not just something that is the exactly core. There's no the core in everything, but then actually it's about the interdependent. So that's why there's no core or the self in everything in the units. So that's why if we really want to realize, understand truly, which is not about the philosophy, or it's not only about the idea, we really need to put the teaching into practice.
Okay, and actually there are two audience ask same question. Yeah, from another question from Juliet. Same to explain more about the non-self. Yes, non-self. In my point of view, non-self is a state that we cannot take granted to belong to us, especially when we put in the practice. Let's say when you practicing sitting meditation, you observe your mind and body again and again. You cannot attach to anything that is belong to you. Your body, they will turn to feeling pain, or change from feeling comfortable in the early to feeling pain, feel unpleasure after that. And when this arises in you, you also cannot control all this feeling that go away, please, I want to stay peacefully. You cannot do it. What you're going to do is observe as the way things are, the um, um, way of the nature is based on the cause and effect. The cause is when we stop still in the same position, and then we can see that suffering appear. And normally we take granted that this is our body, but finally when these phenomena, when these natural phenomena are arising, like unpleasure, feeling pain arising, you also cannot control them. So it means that you are not truly take granted that this is belong to you. So it's non-self. In this um, concept of the three marks of existence, non-self explained to a state of being free, under is not under our control, is under way of the or the law of the cause and effect. Okay, that's we what we can explain here. Okay, Pasambun, you want to have an
I just want
additional
to add that you
explanation?
have a very good explanation, and it's something like
Yes.
occur in my mind. Uh,
Yes.
Actually, as you said, it's very true. If you want to really know, or you can check yourself that there's really you in this body or in thinking, and what we say, this is me. What is it? Nah. So most of the time we say that this body is me. Nah. So, but in actually is not really me. If we take a look in our life, as the person said, that when we are ill and when we have a certain kind of sickness, especially this body, one certain kind of pain arising in this body, if this body really what I call me, what we call like this is I, and actually if that is under our control and if that is really belong to us, we are supposed to be able to uh, get rid of that kind of phenomena that what we don't want, or that's kind of feeling in what occur in our body, or sickness that arising in our life. If this body really belong to us, we are supposed to reject, or maybe I don't want illness. We are supposed to be able to control that illness that not to arising in this body, but actually it's not. It's happened because of the cause and the consequences. And let's take a look at the other side. The other part is about the mentality. And can you make yourself to be happy all day long? So if you say that this is really me or my mind, we're supposed to make ourselves to be always happy, and no one always suffer. No one always happy. So that's kind of uncontrollability. It's something. It's a sign of like there's no self even in our thinking and our emotion. So we cannot like create a certain feeling by ourselves. It's not under our control. So this is what the Buddha explained. It's not about this body. There's no this body. So non-self is doesn't mean no this body. Everything is emptiness. But it's about the thing that is not really under our control, or there's no I that really exists. So this point actually person already explained. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is very helpful for your additional explanation. I just want to um, add something, okay, to more understand about these three marks of existence. Um, the things that distort, the word distort means it's cover the impermanence, okay, the changing. Why we cannot see this changing? Okay, because of continuously, or the continuous, the continuous.
Continuity.
Yeah.
Continuity.
So that's why the continuity. Is it we cannot.
Continuity.
I don't feel that my body changing, but when I realize again I'm 24 and I'm, you know, feel a little bit that changing. But can you observe that if you didn't or don't see your daughters or your nephew niece for a year or 2 or 3 years, and you will absolutely, you know, um, um, acknowledge them that, oh, why are you so big, you will so strange and feel very surprised about that because of you don't see the continuously of that condition or object. Uh, but this thing we always be with it, be with us. All right, one more thing: suffering or dukkha. The violet of the dukkha is changing, moving. Uh, I mentioned earlier that if we sit cross-legged for an hour, of course, you will feel absolutely and extremely pain around your body, your legs, because of you stop in a same position. If you move, change your posture, and then your pain's gone. Your pain's gone away. So that's why dukkha is distorted uh, by the moving or changing posture. And the last one, what is distort non self? Okay, a non self. Okay, is we see this body not as a separation, body and mind. We see things as a whole or like a matter. It's already become this body, so we cannot say that it's not self. We have to experience that it is self, or other objects has self, you know, because we see things like a matter or in a solid, but don't see them as the element that combine with the different element to form this body. Okay, but finally, what I want to mention about the understanding these three marks of existence is to have knowledge for you to gain uh, confidence, that you are not strongly attached, extremely attached to any to some things in your life. Otherwise, you are the one who easily to get suffering and very difficult to be suffer. So in conclusion, what we have been talking as a whole concern to the three characteristics or the three marks of existence: impermanence, suffering, and non-self. Simply when we learn, we help us easily to detach or feel push put something down, especially problems, tensions, worry. Put it down. If you feel it heavy, you feel that when you put you easily feel that you can detach easier when you have this understanding as a background. And the second part is make you or arouse you not to be heedlessful. Heedlessful means careless to living life. You will more active because you have no understand that we have limited time after we born and living life, and this gonna change, and we will getting to be an adult, teenagers to be an adult, and finally die. So when we know about this process and finally we will go there, of course we won't feel neglects to living life or careless to live life. This is the benefit that you can apply to oneself and to your community and society. So I hope that for any society that has applied this knowledge, living life, they will be a be happier, less problem, because every people um, have compromise, apply more kindness, compassion, love, respect to each other, more than just to attach to um, the faults of some people. We can give an opportunity to each other. So that's overall for our Dhamma discussion today in Monk Chat Facebook Live today. And I acknowledge to all comments and acknowledge to all questions that you participate to our Facebook Live today. And I'm sorry that if anything don't run properly, especially we got uh, another monk earlier, but finally he cannot get connection because of his internet connection. He live in the forest temple, but really want him to be with us someday after he can find a better signal. We also really want to learn about his life as well. He is American um, Buddhist monk. He is like a black monk. Okay, so that's why there are some interesting thing uh, about his decision and why he decided to follow this path. All right, for today um, we will soon stop this Facebook live. I very thanks to Prasambun, okay, to uh, help me and participate a lot to all the question. So we
Thank
will
you
stop
very much,
here.
Prasan, for
Yes.
for having this program, and thank you very much, everyone who are following us and listening. And thank you for all the questions. So see you next time.
Okay. Thank you. Good night, all audiences, everyone, and good night, Prasambun. See you next Facebook live next time.